Hey, Shalom, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. All right, all praise unto Yahweh, Shim Yahshai, Bashim Makakadash. Double honors unto the apostles, a great millstone. And honest you brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. So I just wanted to do this quick video right here. Basically going into, and I'm not going to make it too long. I'm going to probably just use one scripture and speak about some things that we've seen in the past. When we study history, or we get to finding out when we study history, is there's a pattern of events that reoccur. Now, when we go into the precepts, when we go into the scriptures, we find out that is the case too, that there is no new thing underneath the earth. And much also is the repetitious nature of Esau and the playbook and the rule book that they conduct their rulership from. I haven't got a better way of putting it other than that. So pretty much Esau, he has a way that he rules his kingdom, and we know that that's through deception. The Bible speaks about the deceiver that was going to rule over the earth, and in ruling over the earth, he was going to use his mass trickeries to control the people. In fact, if we go to the scripture here, if we go onto the word crafty, I should be able to pull up a precept with the word crafty in there and use that for my point. So the book of Job 5:12, it says, he disappointeth the devices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. And that's the man Esau that rules over the world right now. He's got particular tools that he uses, and those tools that they use, they're not very creative. If we said a lot of times here at Great Millstone, those devices that they come up with, the false flag, and then subsequently the laws, the legislation that gets passed, which is what I'm going to touch on within this particular video. The legislation that gets passed during these times of adversity, that's going to be very interesting, man. But the playbook, the rule book is old. This man ain't coming up with anything too interesting. He's coming up with the same thing that he's always been involved in, man. All right, he'll do a false flag attack, or he'll do an actual attack. If it is, they're saying a certain amount of people are dying every day. We don't know whether that's the truth or not. I'm not here to say whether it is or not. But what I'm here to say is it's going to be very interesting to watch and observe the legislation, the different laws that get put into place during and after this so-called pandemic has been quote unquote eased off. Because from what I understand from the news and from what I understand from the different documentaries that I've seen on YouTube, pretty much this thing is going to be out here up until they so-called release a vaccine for it. Now, it's our understanding, or rather more our thinking, that these elite banking families already got the vaccine on the shelf and they're waiting for an opportune time to release this vaccine. Probably when you've got it to where these Bible Belt Edomites and which you got Israelites out there, but you got these Bible Belt individuals out there within the United States of America, and they're pretty much roused up right now. Okay, they're pretty much they're saying that we want to get back to work. Let us get back to work. Let us get back to our so-called normal lives. And so they're putting pressure on their local governments to overturn this so-called lockdown. So with that being, if we're watching and observing that, and we're seeing that, and then you're gonna know that you have to know that the government is gonna retaliate. Okay, the government is gonna do something about that. They're gonna have to either say, okay, look, we're gonna let you back to work, or they're gonna have to ramp up the force that they use against the people. And this is where the thing of martial law comes into it, man. And this is why I use this scripture, because these are the devices of the crafty. We know that this is gonna happen not only from the scriptures, but because they've done this sort of actions, or rather, they've done this predictable actions in the past. All right, they would do a particular event. They'll have a particular event happen within the earth, and then they'll pass laws and move their enterprise forward. Which you got to understand, their enterprise is all about the so-called New World Order. It's all about establishing a New World Order where they've got complete control over everything. And in having complete control over everything, they're going to be justified over that. Remember, you got it to where you got certain Edomites out there in America for having guns and protection on their own property. In order to control these types of individuals, you got to come with a very compelling story. You got to come with a very compelling ideology. All right. So much so when they come up against these so-called Bible betters, these so-called rednecks, they're going to be saying that these are terrorists or domestic terrorists. That's why you're seeing this term domestic terrorists being used more loosely nowadays, because it's going to be important when you're trying to control people that have a inkling to want to be free. Okay, these so-called rednecks, they want to be free. I've seen this on the this TV program, the Tiger King. I haven't finished watching it, but you get a feel of what the sentiment out there within America is as it pertains to these so-called rednecks, or the guys are out there on a ranch and they got guns and they got firearms, and how they feel about the government and how they feel about being controlled and this, that, and the third. You think right now that they're feeling liberated. You think right now they're feeling very American. No, they're thinking that, look, this is the so-called this is the what do they call it? These are the amendments that we know, and this is against the amendments. I forget the exact term, the exact word for what that's called, but this is the rules, the founding rules of America, and this infringes upon those rules. So they're feeling like they're gonna have to what? They're gonna have to retaliate. So guess what? You're gonna have legislation that's gonna be getting passed so that it's going to be justifiable to put these people in prison. Now, this is where it becomes interesting, because in passing those legislations, you got it to where the prophecy is going to be fulfilled, man. You got it to where what the scripture says as concerning the time of martial law, the time of Jacob's trouble, is going to be fulfilled. All right, Esau's got a playbook that he plays by. He's got a playbook that he goes through, and he sticks to it. He uses the same thing over and over again. Order out of chaos. They use this mantra. This is their mantra. Okay, so they create a particular chaos, and through that chaos they create the order that they want to create out of that order. So you're gonna have it to where they're gonna be passing laws, and there was gonna be putting things into the framework and putting things into the infrastructure that's gonna be beneficial or into setting up their so-called new world order, man. The enterprise of the elites. It's going to be benefiting them, right? The laws that's going to get passed now, the things that they're going to be speaking about within the news right now, for instance, they're probably going to keep the 6 feet thing going for a long time, man. Okay, they got it to where they're talking about you got to keep 6 feet away from people, blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? When you watch these so-called futuristic movies, they got that. With like movies like this movie, what's this called, man? Equilibrium. When you watch Equilibrium, everybody's distant. Everybody hasn't got no so-called social interactions with each other, because that's what the elites want, man. When you got social interactions between people, when they can get huddled up in groups, what do we do when we go out there into the camps, man? We huddle up in groups, okay? We speak the truth. But when you go to where people ain't huddling up in groups, well, you might have a local, or rather more localized a means of getting the word, or means of getting the truth. But that word of mouth, whereby which the word spreads, that's null and void. It's not there, man. And that's what these elites are trying to control. Like I said, the movie Equilibrium is good for that, because you get to an understanding of what the elites want. They want to control not just how you move, not just what you eat, when you go out your house, who you speak to. Okay, fundamentally, they want to control when you have sex with your woman, man. Because as far as they're concerned, they got to maintain the population of the earth to the number that they've said they want to keep it to. Is it like 500 million? And in order for them to maintain that, they're gonna make everybody what? Damn near sterile, man. And that goes to show you that this man is a homosexual, man. Okay, but then going back onto the point I'm making here is that they're gonna be passing legislation right now. Okay, that's gonna be benefiting the so-called New World Order. So let's get that scripture out. So this is the first one. can't remember exactly where it is. And put there. Okay, Micah 2:1, it says, woe to them that devise iniquity. And this is Esau. Again, like I said, they've got a rule book, they got a playbook that they recite every time they want to further their enterprise. So the scripture says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. So this is what they do, man. Okay, they go home or they gather together in their groups and they further their enterprise. But the Bible speaks about how Esau was going to try to establish his so-called New World Order anyway. So we're expecting it. We're expecting the martial law troops. We're expecting the famines. We're expecting the time of Jacob's trouble. And they work evil upon their beds. And when the morning is light, they practice it because it is in their power of their hand. All right. So they covet fields and they take them by violence, and they take away and houses. Let me read that again. They covet fields, which is to desire something that doesn't belong to you. They covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. So that's Esau right there, man. All right. Esau really wants to take everybody's belongings. He wants to take he's taking their money through the international banking system. He's taking away their rights now through this corona and whatever else is going to come and spew out as a result of this. All right. And he wants to own everything, man. The reason he wants to own everything because that's the blessing that was given unto the man Jacob. Okay. And they're going to take those possessions and they're going to take that control via violence. That's why we speak about the martial law troops. And let me get this last precept. I got to remember how this one goes now. This is the important scripture because this ties everything together. This is what is it called now? I had it in the top of my head just a second ago. It was all right, decree. That's it. Okay, so that's gonna bring out the scripture. Okay, Isaiah 10:1, it says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, which all of these laws that Esau passes, they're against what the Most High has set up, man. All right, the Most High set up a way that this earth is supposed to be lived in. He set up a way this earth was supposed to be enjoyed. He set up a way this earth was going to be governed, ruled. What God was going to be, worshipped in the earth. The Most High set all of those things up, man. All right, but everything that Esau passes is against that. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and write grievousness of which, and they write righteousness. Woe unto them that decree unrighteousness. What's going on with me today, man? Let me read that properly. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees. There we go. And write grievousnesses which they have prescribed. All right, and that's Esau. All right, he's just writing up grievousnesses, and he's going to be passing them laws, in the times that we're living through right now. That's going to be what? Furthering the enterprise of the wicked, man. So pretty much that's the video. With that, I'm going to say all praises unto Yahweh Hashem, Yahshua Bashim Kakadash, double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone, and honor you brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity. Shalom.